Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome to Chinatown in Liverpool. It's pretty windy, so hoping the microphone muff does its job. I've come out this morning with my new camera. Picture of it will be going on screen now. I'm not looking for anything specific. I may not get anything at all. We shall see, but as I think I mentioned in my last video, purchasing it turned into a saga. Bought it online eventually, but it wasn't the intended camera for me. Same model, just a completely different vendor, so I might touch on that when I get back home. And a lot of this video will be done back at my place because I've reassessed my photography requirements of late. Just show you these handsome guys, aren't they brilliant? I think they're called Dogs of Faux. Brilliant bronze beasts. There are 4 of them to either end of Nelson Street. And Liverpool, of course, had a huge influx of Chinese immigrants. I think it's one of the largest populations in the UK. Gosh, it really is windy down here. So let me walk away from the wind and we'll see if we can keep it to my back. It's coming off the river, of course, which is not exactly unusual. Right, back on topic again, Alan. I've reassessed my photographic requirements. I first went digital in 2000/2001 when my already existing photographic studio was film-based. And it was at that time that the availability of digital cameras, SLRs, fell to a price that was attractive enough for me to invest in it. Okay, we're leaving Chinatown and heading into the Baltic Triangle area, so I'll pick you up again down there. Well, I've come back through the Baltic Triangle. I've taken a couple of images on the way. I'm now down here at the King's Dock, and really I wanted to try and explain what the hell the point of this video is this week, because you're probably wondering. I've put some images up already which don't match anything that you've seen from me since I've been using this YouTube channel. And when I get back to the house, I'm going to explain what's going on there. I'll briefly tell you that the camera which posed me so many problems over the past 2 weeks has been the Olympus OMD EM1, the Mark 1 version, or classic if you want to be posh. Always makes me laugh the way people regard them as classic, or call them classic as opposed to Mark 1, which is what they really are. As you know, I've been using the EM10 Mark 1 for a couple of months now, and that was a big departure for me going into Micro Four Thirds. One of my big issues is bulk and weight of equipment. So the attraction of Micro Four Thirds was obvious, really. I could carry the same kind of outfit with me, which would occupy half the space and probably take up round about half the weight of my old Canon 5D outfit. The point of this video really is to illustrate that although I took a fairly big gamble, in my own opinion, in switching to Micro Four Thirds, I'm happy that I did. The images that you have seen already, hopefully, if I've managed to capture the printed versions okay, date from that time when I had my own studio. They were taken on a Fujifilm S1 Pro, which was basically a Nikon, I can't remember which model it was. If I can find out, I'll put it on screen for you now. But it was a Nikon camera body, SLR body, and Fuji fitted their own electronics inside it and sensor and everything. The memory card cost me the princely sum of £500 back in 2000, and it was only 1 megabyte. 1 megabyte, £500. In fact, it cost me as much as the Sigma, I think it was 16 to 35 HSM lens that I fitted to it, because of course it was an APS-C size sensor, so I needed something relatively wide for doing group shots and weddings, that kind of thing. So a 16 to 35 was purchased for roughly the same price as the blimmin' memory card. Unbelievable. These images that you've seen, the portraits, were taken on that camera. Now, for those of you that can't be bothered to Google it, and would like me to tell you straight off the bat, that was a 3 megapixel sensor. Fuji actually tried to advertise it and claim it to be 6 by the way its pixels were laid out on the sensor in a sort of honeycomb pattern. But truth be told, it was 3 megapixels. And although I'm going to try and take some more stills now with this EM1, whether they'll be successful or not, I don't know. I've come out with just the little Bright Instar 12mm lens on it, deliberately. I'm trying to find my way around the camera still at the moment. But, you know, so far so good. Absolutely delighted with it. And I will be giving a full comparison between this and the EM10 Mark 1, possibly in the next video, although I do want to return to the editing side as well. Next time you see me, I will be back at the house showing you some of these prints. Well, here I am, back at home, and this is just to round out this strange video that I've done today. Basically, when I say that I've reassessed my photographic requirements, I've realized once and for all that pixels and the number you have in your camera aren't the whole story by a long, long way. When I told you that those images, the portraits, were taken on a 3 megapixel Fuji S1 Pro, I wasn't joking, I wasn't lying to you. And the few images that you saw at the very beginning of this video are ones that I have printed out from that time to illustrate what they are actually like. Now, this one hasn't been card mounted. Hopefully you can see all of that. This was taken on a vacation that I had in Southern Ireland back in 2002, I think it was, something like that.
2003. Just a straightforward shot with that Fuji S1 Pro. More than likely the 16 to 35 Sigma lens that I was telling you about, and printed on the state-of-the-art at the time Epson Stylus 1290, I think it was called, something like that anyway, on semi-matte paper. Colourful scene, but that was Ireland, not me. Regarding the portraits, here we are. These are all printed originally to more or less A3 size. There's a bit of damage to some of them, as you might expect by now, because they've been stashed in a wardrobe. And I'm going to put up, hopefully on screen for you to have a look at, some enlargements that I've taken earlier on today of just sections of these, just to show you that they are really quite acceptable. 3 megapixels, don't forget. And this is all pretty typical of the kind of stuff that I used to do in the studio. A lot of my work was weddings as well. But you might think, oh God, it was a hard life, Alan, wasn't it? Actually, it was. It's very difficult, challenging to, not technically, but it's challenging to present photographs to people that they themselves like. It's not as easy as you might first think. Mother and baby shot in a kind of monochrome. I did tint it. I'm not for one moment saying that images like this taken on a 3 megapixel camera 20 odd years ago can compare to what you can get today, but they are more than good enough, even by today's standards. They're more than sharp enough, as I hope some of these detail shots will prove to you. And it kind of made me think, well, 3 megapixels 20 odd years ago, you know, that was pretty much state of the art at the time, at least without going into sort of mortgage territory to buy a camera with more megapixels. And they're all, you know, pretty much of a muchness. I'm still happy looking at them today, to be perfectly honest with you. You've seen some printed versions. You've seen some, hopefully by now, some enlarged sections of those portrait shots. And it's just made me realise, you know, the majority of my digital cameras have been 16 megapixels. And when I was considering buying the OMD EM1, God, it's a mouthful saying that. When I was considering buying another Micro Four Thirds camera, the little EM10 is here. Still have it at the moment. I'm probably going to be selling it. But so the EM10, the gamble I took was the fact that I was dropping down a sensor size from APS-C to Micro Four Thirds. And whereas my old XE2, X Pro 1, etc., they were 16 megapixels, but on a slightly larger sensor. So I was taking a risk going down the Micro Four Thirds route with the EM10. And then I dug those prints out and I thought, well, what is the point in spending a lot more money to go for the Mark II, Mark III, or whatever mark they are up to now, when I upgrade to the EM1? The advantages of this, and what I really wanted, was the fact that it's a pro-grade body, solidly built, as, to be fair, is the EM10. It's fully weatherproofed. And now, with the latest firmware, which is something that Olympus have got a very good reputation for, is updating their firmware packages. With the latest firmware, which this now has, I can do focus bracketing. I can't do focus stacking where the camera does it in the body itself. I still have to stack them outside of the camera in software, but I can do focus bracketing with this using pretty much any dedicated lens. Can't use it with the little Bright Instar 12mm. So that is the point of this video. Don't get conned into thinking that you've got to have the most megapixels available to mankind. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of quality in a 16 megapixel sensor. What you have to do with any digital camera and its sensor, irrespective of whether it's full frame, APS-C, micro four thirds, medium format, you have to saturate it with enough light so that it can give you the maximum result possible, the maximum quality possible. So that's it in a nutshell. I took a gamble. I've gone micro four thirds. I haven't looked for any more megapixels. I'm very happy with 16. Harking back to the days when I had a 3 megapixel camera doing professional work, yeah, I'm still a happy bunny. And I hope that might have got some information across to you out there. We all love equipment. We all want the latest. We don't always need the very latest. Until the next time, look after yourselves and really, 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 really enjoy your photography. Bye-bye for now.